Coming into gate number 15, the gate of humanity, the gate of extremes, we're also coming into the season of the summer solstice. This is one of the four love gates within the teachings of human design, and it is really going to teach us the power of coming into the fullness of ourselves in terms of our chakra system, opening ourselves up like those petals, like the flowers of the summer solstice, to then become a magnetic force for attracting what is of your highest good. We're also in a crossroads right now between Gemini season and flowing into Cancer season. So if you are finishing off Gemini season with us, congratulations on making it to the end. And if you are just starting your journey in Cancer season, welcome to the beginning of a very powerful journey. In Gemini season, we spend a lot of time up in the throat center in human design, moving through 7 of the gate activations. Now we are dropped down into the center of self, gate 15, the love for humanity or not, because we do have that free will choice. We're then going to find ourselves dropping down into our root center for 3 activations before moving into the final 4 gates. So this will be Cancer season, moving in then to, I got to check my notes here, Leo season, and riding out the remainder of that throat center activation. So this is a powerful time for moving forward. And as you can see, whenever there's a transition between the different astrological bodies, meaning our sun is in that sign, your personality resides within that sun sign of yourself, there's always this opportunity for this crossover, this greeting, this connection. And at this time in gate number 15, we're seeing the ending of Gemini. So the element of air, communication, the influence of our earlier years, our persona, which is our identity, now introducing itself to the element of water, Cancer season, the 4th house of family, your home, and looking at ancestral patterns. So, like any merging together of the elements, it can have a very gentle approach. Air can bring in and heightened communication, open you up to a broader perspective of your world. Water can act as a cleansing and a purification, a renewal of your body. Or we can get really stuck in our mind in the air of the mental patterns and the emotions of the water within ourselves. So we can either become the sculptors and make something beautiful out of clay, adding in just the right elements as it is needed, letting it dry in the air when we're ready in its final form. Or we start creating a little bit of a tsunami or a tornado when there's too much of one element that comes into play. So, this time of the summer solstice really teaches us about the importance of balance, remaining open to life no matter what. And it's really seen the world as we are all in this together. Humanity is all in Mother Earth. We are all one in Mother Earth, being held on the womb of the mother, and we are supported in our evolution and in our growth process. So, entering into gate number 15 in its teachings, when we look at the I Ching, this is where it states that we're finding our role in all possible extremes and conditions that life offers. And in having friends and acquaintances in all levels of society, you are less likely to be attracted to or conditioned by anyone in particular. And this is where you're learning to blossom as the flower of you. We are all a wild flower. You have been planted exactly where you are needed for creation to express itself through you, and allowing yourself to be open to all sorts of different people, cultures, teachings, way of life. You're not going to identify with one single person, species, flower, but you're going to be embracing the wildflower, the openness of humanity itself. So that invites in many different experiences that are here to teach you the fullness of love. When we look at your human design chart, you're going to find that gate 15 right in what is known as the center of self. If you have the center colored in on your chart, this means that you have consistent energy in terms of your identity, your direction in life, how you deal with the energies of love itself. And if you have gate 15 circled within your chart, you're going to recognize a lot of these qualities in these teachings today. If your center of self, this diamond is white, it's undefined in your chart, you're like a chameleon. You're open to being many different things. So there's no set identity, there's no set direction. You will really feel when you are in the right place. And when you're in the right place, you will be with the right people. So you're open to the experience. You're able to blend in easily to the environment around you. And you really have to trust your ability to feel that. Being in the right environment aligns you with the right people. If the environment is off, the people in that energy is going to be off for you as well. So gate 15 is really open in the collective energy during this time. If you're following the teachings of the mandala wheel, then at this point in your journey, the collective energy all gets this activation. We all get the opportunity to experience this. And it brings us the archetype of the humanitarian. It's really designed to help us improve the lives of others and to see humanity as one big family and really kind of operating around the principles of equality and fairness. And because this is happening in the height of the summer months, a lot of people are starting to have their summer holidays, or they're gathering more in parks, they're participating in community events. And you might be more aware of the blend of different cultures and families around you at this time, and maybe noticing a lot more friendliness and openness to the inclusiveness of the gatherings of people. So the energy is really supporting that. It's reminding us that there is room and space for everybody, and we all have a beautiful expression to contribute in this beautiful bouquet of life. It's going to help us to really love and crave that interaction with others, wanting us to get out there, wanting us to be more social, enjoying the fullness of the sunshine and the weather and all of the sights and sounds and smells that that brings to us. And very likely, this is again where we're going to see entertaining friends from many different backgrounds and social circles, blending in a lot of diversity in here. When we have that approach to life that is very open, so we're allowing the flowers within our chakras to open up, especially that heart center, the high heart, where we have all of these layers. And when it's closed, we're operating from self-protection. And we may want relationships with others, we may be looking for love, but if that flower of your heart is closed, if you are protecting yourself, if you're afraid of getting hurt and afraid of engaging with life, then you're going to miss the opportunities for deeper relationships and connections. It is when we allow that heart center to open by being honest with ourselves and honest with others, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. You may be hurt, but you also may have an opportunity for great love. So it is staying open to life, to humanity, to the extremes of the highs and the lows, everything in between. It is operating from kindness. And kindness means that you are first and foremost being kind to yourself. So you're going to be aware when healthy boundaries need to be established. You're going to be aware of what kind of conversations resonate with you and which ones you may prefer to walk away from. You're going to know and you're going to feel those higher vibrations. And when you honor that and you allow yourself to be kind to you, then you're sharing that generosity with others. People just then respect that. They're going to respect your honesty. They're going to respect your conversation. They're going to respect your presence. They're going to look up to that with admiration and really feel supported by you showing up as your best self. So just like you would bring someone a bouquet of flowers to celebrate a special occasion, and somebody breathes in the fragrance of those flowers and feels good and loves looking at their beauty, it maybe stimulates the heart so that they're feeling special and receiving that. We forget about the gift of our presence, that your presence, your kindness, your open heart, your accepting nature, that is like that bouquet of flowers. So when you are with other people, they can't help but be appreciative of your energy and just want to naturally be around you because of that energy that's in your auric field that they are feeling. It is just an instant connection to that. And if you find that it is bothering certain people, it is only because they're not quite ready to face that beauty and to face that level of love. But your job is to stay open and to stay flowering, reminding them and sending them those vibrations of kindness and compassion and understanding so that when they are ready to see themselves in your reflection, you will be there with open arms, ready to greet them and to embrace them in. It's also really, really important to honor the energy here of the free spirit. And that is where we use the symbology of being a wild flower because a wild flower is organic in nature. It is going to bloom wherever it is planted. It knows exactly what it's right for it. It has its own color. It has its own magic. It has its own growth pattern. So certain seeds grow fast, some grow slow, some get tall, some are short. We're all different variations of those seeds of potential. And you having the freedom to be you and to be authentic and to trust in the calling of your direction. Your times for rest, your times for play, your times for action, your times for creativity, that is really going to open up the heart. And when you are feeling entrapped, either by yourself that has a narrative that you're not allowed to do that, or other people trying to dominate over you, that's going to make you feel extremely uncomfortable. So if you've been living your life trying to fit in with others or try to be something that you're really not, you're kind of outgrowing that side of you. It's like your foot is growing, but you're still trying to wear the same size shoe. That was the analogy that we used in the teachings of More Than Existing with Corey Thorne Cameron. You're going to feel that that no longer works for you. So those are all clues that the body is telling you to sit with your heart, examine your heart to see where you are still keeping yourself enclosed and allow yourself more time and space just to breathe into you, to breathe into the summer, to breathe into the beauty of life, to engage in more play, more activity, more interactions with others. And sometimes we may find that as an adult, it can be a little bit harder making friends. We don't have the children there that are helping to make those interactions for us, or perhaps the workplace isn't the same kind of connections that we're used to. One of the things that you can do that I've done for myself because I've moved multiple times is I like going to places that are public in nature. So I'll go and sit in a park. I'll go for a walk in a busy trail system. And it's really then having the courage to make eye contact with others, to smile, to just sit and listen to the sounds of the laughter, the energy. So you're still in the presence of people and part of that connection. And when you stay open to that connection, you can trust in the synchronicity of life to align you to the right people that are going to match your energy. And you're also opening up to the potential of making some beautiful new friends. So, friends are basically people that we haven't necessarily met yet. There's unlimited potential for gathering together your expanding soul family when you remain open to that experience. We're also getting a lot of energy right now through what is known as the channel of rhythm. And this is where we see the relationship to the connection underneath gate number 15, which happens to fall now into the sacral center. So anybody who is a generator or manifesting generator, you have a colored in sacral center. This is your life force energy. It's where you feel all of those vibrational expressions of when you like something, when you don't like something, when you're not sure about something. It is the gut instinct, your intuition. And when you're doing things that are in alignment to what it is that really feel satisfying to you, you're going to have this hum. You're going to be in this natural flow. When you're doing things that are out of alignment to yourself, you're going to feel very frustrated. So when you're trying to force things to work, trying to force that seed to bloom before it is ready to, or if you're trying to force something that is not natural for that seed, it's going to hit a dead wall time after time after time. And we've been taught to get out there and force ourselves into life. Whereas your energy type for our generators and manifesting generators is you're here to respond. You're here to allow life to come at you and for your body to go, ooh, I like that. I want more of that. And then to engage and apply your energy towards that. And other times things are going to come towards you and you're going to go, ooh, no, I don't like that. And it's honoring the body instead of forcing yourself by the mind to do it anyway. So allowing yourself to be open to respond, engaging in life is really going to help you in your alignment towards how your energy really truly interacts with the environment around you and building that deep trust within the body's wisdom. Now, if you are a projector, a manifester, or a reflector, and this center is white in your chart, well, you're feeling the life force energy of the others. You are open to the collective sacral energy. It's like going to the gas station and filling up the tank, the vessel of you. So you're going to know the people that are healthy for you by the vibration, the energy that you are tasting within them. And you're going to know the environments and the people that are not generating much of a life force energy. So it's really allowing yourself to tune in to the people, to the workplaces, to the situations that really support a nice quality of fuel of energy for you. And one of the most guaranteed perfect rhythmist areas to get your fuel from is Mother Earth herself. Mother Earth offers us the opportunity to really connect to a deeper rhythm, connect to a deeper flow. And this is where we're going to see when we get to the gene keys why the energetic vibration of the earth is really felt within our systems, especially during the time of the summer solstice. So, this channel of energy, and again, check your chart to see if you already have this channel. This is one of 4 tantric channels. And that means that it's really here supporting us in transmuting our energies from a lower vibration and into a higher vibration. So during this time, we're all likely experiencing a lot of this energy. So you may feel that you're more enthusiastic, more joyful. And Mother Earth is really helping in that with all the colors and the smells and just the warmer temperatures that are coming in. It naturally helps to rise up the vibration from sometimes the darker periods of winter and then moving into the early spring when things are still a little bit more dull. So it really gives us that energy then to embrace change and to trust in the flow of life. Things start to feel better. They start to feel easier. They likely start to feel a little bit more relaxing. The sun tends to draw us out to want to just sit in it for a little while and to maybe read a book or have a conversation. So it is teaching us to attune to the natural rhythm of Mother Earth and to honor her timing, her seasons, her cycles. And a big part of that is when we look at that sacral center, the life force energy, is drawing from gate number 5. Gate number 5 is all about waiting. It gives us the gift of patience, which means that its shadow here is impatient. So when we're trying to force again that seed to open up, or we're trying to force an experience, if it's not ready, we get really impatient. We start to judge ourselves that we're not doing something fast enough, we're not progressing fast enough. Why are that person over there? Why do they have everything and we don't? So we live in a world that's taught us to compare our growth to somebody else. We forget that the true teachings of Mother Earth means that we're all an individual seed. You're the only one that has your thumbprint. You're the only one that has the DNA, the inner alchemy of your potential, your fragrance for the world, your gifts to humanity. Imagine instead of comparing ourselves to others, that we float all that energy into being the best version of you and really cultivating your gifts. Not looking at all the faults, but feeding the gifts and opening up the heart to express that. That is where we really are going to find that when you're in the flow of life, when you're trusting in life, when you're doing those things that raise your vibration, you're just going to have this knack of you're going to show up the right place at the right time to introduce something new. They're going to welcome that change in, and it's going to feel easy and feel natural because the timing is perfect. You're listening to those impulses of the body that are guiding you. When we try to force something, when we get out of step with the natural rhythm of life, life becomes really chaotic and unhappy. And a lot of times that happens when we're trying to fit into somebody else's schedule and it doesn't work with your rhythm. You're not allowing yourself to go with your flow, your time, your pace, getting your rest, eating when you're hungry, engaging with friendships when you're needing it, backing out and having time by yourself when you're needing it. If you're always trying to accommodate somebody else, you will be out of step with your rhythm. So you may notice that when you don't have to hurry, you perform amazingly. And I had this conversation this morning with my husband. We were talking about, a lot of people that were working 8-hour jobs, 12-hour jobs, whatever your shifts are, you have this set schedule. Imagine if you could come in, do your job, and then leave when the job was done. If you came into that workplace well rested, ready to sit down, ready to contribute, you were doing work that you love to do, you could probably do your best work in 2 hours instead of the 8 or the 12 hours. And we're starting to move into a world that is adopting more and more of that work-life balance. We're seeing those old structures, man-created time, the lean management systems of organizations that are trying to extract the most it can from your energy with little resources and little support there in place. They're not working any longer. So when you really start to trust in your body, and you may notice you're somebody who needs a lot more sleep. So you align yourself to something that's going to allow you spaces to recharge. You might be somebody who has a lot of energy and you need to stay active in order to burn that. And if you're stuck in a job that has you sitting all day long, that's not going to work for you. So it's trusting that there's so many diverse possibilities that exist out in the world. And we don't narrow ourselves down because of a belief system in the mind, but we trust in the rhythm of the body and what it is that is really appealing to us in this energy. And you open up to receiving that, you will get all sorts of opportunities that come your way. But it's trusting in your ability to really get in touch with your rhythm and your flow and really looking at your patterns of the seasons to see, well, what areas are your go times and what areas are your rest time? What is your normal season? What is your rhythm? What is your pattern? What is it that really helps you to maximize the efficiency of your energy and connects you to the greater good of humanity? There's also an ability in this energy to establish order amongst chaos. And again, it's that feeling of when you're well rested, when you are healthy, you're in your rhythm. Whenever problems kind of show up or a crisis shows up, it's easier to handle that. It's easier to jump into the problem solving of, oh, well, let's take a look at this. Let's figure out a solution. Let's put all these different pieces in order. Let's call in some help and support. Whereas if you're really tired and depleted and you're out of your rhythm, you don't feel like you can cope, things just become more chaotic. It gets stuck in our emotional body that can't find a solution because it's so stuck in the problem. So we want to move into that higher state of our health and well-being where intuitively you just know when it's time to change your direction, it's time to introduce something new, it's time to pivot, it's time to adapt. It's this rhythmic dance of life. We are always in a state of change. We're always in this state of being organically spontaneous when we're living from moment to moment to moment instead of keeping ourselves so structured and placed within this box. So when you really look at what you're committing your energy to, you're going to notice how that affects your rhythm and flow. So if you feel like, everything just seems really crazy right now, look at where your commitments are. Look at how much time you are committing to your health and your well-being. And really ask yourself, are there things that you're doing for somebody else that they should be doing for themselves? So you look at the family units and all the components of the family. If that is based around equality and trust and togetherness, self-empowerment, how can everybody come together in a way that allows for a lot of things to get done with a lot less effort so that there is more room to have play and to experience the fullness of life itself? We're going to take a look now at what is known as the gene keys. And the gene keys are by a gentleman by the name of Richard Rudd. And it is taken from the book of the Gene Keys. I highly, highly recommend you to get a copy if that is available to you. And what this is now is the gene key comes in to open up the gate, those numbers in your human design chart, to bring us in deeper, to look at the inner alchemy potential by moving through the shadow, the dilemma, harnessing the gift, and reaching for the highest light aspect, the transformation potential within this gate of humanity. So here we're going to explore the shadow of dullness, the dilemma of our comfort zones and how those tend to keep us trapped in there, bringing in the gift of magnetism, which is the law of attraction. What is magnetically being drawn to you? And reaching for the highest study of fluorescence, which, just like opening up to photosynthesize, the plant bringing in as much light as it can to embody it into its cells, that is like the essence there of fluorescence. So let us start by really examining the shadow of dullness and that dilemma of comfort. And to quote the gene keys, it says the 15th gene key initiates your evolutionary journey from being unaware of your true nature to your eventual awakening as an expression of divine form. So all your struggles, your pains, your agonies, your geography and topography, a little bit of a tongue twister there, of your journey towards awakening are written here. So topography, all the different layers of yourself, your geography, everything that is around you, it's all written within your DNA. To be human is to be a battlefield of opposing forces and frequencies, some of which pull you towards heaven, others which drag you downwards into hell. Humanity is the bridge for consciousness to work out these many conflicting currents. And we do. We live in a duality here on Earth. It is the only planet that allows the opportunity for free will. That is the experiment that is here. So we all signed up for this journey to come in to be able to choose for ourselves. Are we going to create our heaven on earth or are we going to create our hell on earth? And it all is a product of our mind, our perception. So Dante, and this goes way, way back in the teachings, he's got what is known as the Divine Comedy. And this also relates to the gene keys. There's 64 numbers on your human design chart. There's 64 keys that open up those numbers, those gates. There's 64 codon strands within your cellular DNA. So this is the program within your alchemy of you that either brings us and keeps us into that hell state, or it moves us up into the gift, or it opens us up completely to tap into the heavens. So Dante called that the hell, the purgatory, and the heaven, the three stages. The gene keys call it the shadow, the gift, and the Sudi, the highest light aspect. The shadow of dullness and the entrapment nature of our comfort zones is what keeps us in the state of a self-created hell. And it's really important to understand the term self-created because it's when we're accepting something as okay, or we're not willing to do the work to take change, to claim responsibility, we just stay in our comfort zones. We do really live in our self-created hell. It's like putting the bird in the bird cage. You're not allowed to fly. You have this structure built around you that prevents you from going any further than the walls of that cage. And there's so many ways that we create those comfort zones. We can really get lost behind TV, video games, our cell phones, living in a state of watching everybody else's life unfold, but not actually living our own lives. And that becomes very dull. The shadow of dullness is really a low frequency human attitude to being alive in a body, not appreciating this physical body, not appreciating that your soul chose you as a vessel. Out of all the billions of possibilities that exist in the world, your soul chose you. And a lot of times we discount our human. We don't appreciate our human. We criticize our human. We punish our human. So that is all being in that low frequency energy of having that attitude of, I don't want to be here. I don't belong here. I don't fit in here. Instead of seeing the blessing of the journey that the soul came here to experience. We have a fear of life just being ordinary. We're taught to get out there and to climb this ladder, to be seen, to be heard, to be on a stage somewhere so that other people recognize us. We're so afraid of just being one of the ordinary, everyday people that we have no contentment with that state of being. We don't see the beauty in being one of the ordinary people and the magic of life without any of these pressures of having to do a lot. So it's our comfort zone that really keeps us in this repetitive pattern, this rhythm that is really going to ensure for us that our life remains dull. And as long as you keep doing the same things that you're always doing and you're feeling the same energies that you're always feeling, you're stuck in a pattern. And the only person that can break that pattern is yourself. It comes from an attitude, a perception that says, something has to change. More light needs to come in. I got to open up the curtains. I got to open up the windows. I got to move myself into a different environment. I have to open up to stop and smell the flowers. I have to engage with life. One of our biggest comfort zones is the mind that says, ooh, I can't do that. What will people think of that? What if I'm not accepted? So that is where our shadow states of fears, they come into that narrative. And when you catch those, then you can start to really look at the validity of those fears. You can baby step yourself through them, show yourself that things are possible. As Mel Robbins says, feel the fear and do it anyway. And it's your body that's going to be your indicator as to whether something is right for you. And you have that conviction of, you know what, I do feel afraid, but I know I just have to keep walking in that direction. That's going to come from that energy and that support that is all around you from your guidance team. But again, we have free will, so we have to ask for help. The universe that we live in, it operates as a hologram. So it has patterns. Those are the laws of the universe. Everything is in perfect harmony. But we have all of these fractal patterns that are repeated again and again and again. And there's many, many different fractal patterns. So when you really look at what pattern are you repeating, are you in a fractal pattern that is of low energy? It is of dullness. It doesn't have any enthusiasm. Can you get yourself onto a different fractal pattern that brings in more potential, brings in more of the energies that it is you want, that you're craving, that you're looking out into the world at someone else and going, I wish I had that. What is that? And how do you create more of that for yourself in order to feel those higher vibration states? If you've ever played with a kaleidoscope as a child, you'll know that when you turn the kaleidoscope, you get these patterns. You get different colors and different opportunities to see some of those fractal energies. Our world is always changing. And all you had to do as a child was to really look through and focus just on that pattern and just keep turning it. Well, that is the same as our attitude. And only humans are capable of having an attitude. That is one of the blessings and the curses that really differentiate ourselves as being a human. We can switch in the blink of an eye to shift from this perspective to that perspective. And the only thing that stands in the middle of that is our attitude. Our attitude is what affects life's events, which is the law of magic. We are the creators. We can all have the same experience, and we will all have a different attitude, a different takeaway of how that experience was for us. Some may love it, some may hate it, some might find fault, some might find blessings. There are so many possibilities that exist in one single moment of time. Our personal experience is going to mirror our attitude. So if you're looking for something to go wrong, you will find something to go wrong. If you're saying to yourself, I don't fit in, you will find reasons to validate that you don't fit in. If you are expecting to have wonderful connections and have a good time, you're going to have wonderful connections and have a good time. So your attitude really tells you and shows you how consciousness is using your awareness at any given moment. And it's really here to teach you about the law of attraction. So, whatever it is that you're thinking about and whatever it is that you're putting out into your auric field, the universe goes, okay. It doesn't say whether or not that's good for you or bad for you. It just attunes to what you are putting out and it answers, okay, here you go. Here is your experience. Our attitudes, they're linked to our hormones, they're linked to our brain chemistry, and they're linked to our spirit, which is our soul essence within inside of ourselves. So when we have a poor attitude, really all that is a lack of light. We have a low spirit. So when you're down in the dumps, yeah, likely we get an attitude. We go through our teenage years, we have all those hormones going on, we get an attitude. You hit 2 years of age, and all of a sudden, your whole world is changing. You're aware that you have an identity, you get an attitude. So there's many moments in our life where things really kind of go in different patterns and cycles, depending on the hormones, depending on what is going in your development in your brain, and that spirit inside yourself that is wanting to express itself at a deeper level. This is also where we have things like the ability to feel the changes to weather patterns. And maybe you've noticed one of the examples in the Gene Keys book is when it's really cloudy outside, a lot of times we start to feel a lot more lethargic. The energy becomes lower. When it's really sunny outside, our spirits lift up. So we don't realize sometimes that we're so affected by the weather patterns, by what's happening out in the cosmos. We take everything personally and feel, well, it must be us. But when we start to notice, oh my gosh, I'm feeling low energy today, and you notice that it's cloudy and gray outside, well, maybe that's your cue to start putting on some music that raises the vibration or engaging in something that allows you to take advantage of having a comfortable rest period. But noticing and checking in with your body to see what is it that you need. How can you be of loving service to yourself today, which then puts you in being the best you that you can be in the presence of other people? We can't escape the dullness of existence. No matter what you do, you're not going to be able to escape it. We're not here to get rid of our shadows. We're here to learn how to work with the shadows, to acknowledge the shadows, to find the gift within the shadow. So it's really a matter of how we deal with it. How we interpret life is going to dictate our attitude. So the dullness of life might be, well, I have to wash the dishes today and I have to get the kids ready for school today. I have to go to work today. And we can have the attitude of, oh, I hate my life. I hate this. This just sucks. This is horrible. And really just feel in that downward energy. Or it's the gift of, I got to go to work today. Okay, well, I'm going to make the best of that. I'm going to smile at everybody that comes into my presence. I'm going to see how I can create some excitement in that. I'm just going to be in the moment. I'm going to be aware and notice the different energies around me. I'm just going to learn from those energies around me. I'm going to learn how to really attune to how I'm feeling. I'm going to be open to the experience. I'm going to play with the law of attraction. Maybe I want a coffee. Maybe I'm going to kind of put that out there and I'm be thankful for the coffee that is coming to me. I'm going to look at the magic of how that coffee then arrives. There's many different ways to use your gifts and your abilities for the highest good by changing the ordinariness of life to opportunities for teaching moments, for expansions, for contentment, for practicing gratitude. So it's really being aware that when we are in the shadow state, when we're lacking in light, well, this is our chakra system. Our lower three chakras is our solar plex, our sacral, and our root chakra. That also relates to our physical body, our emotional body, and our mental body. So when we're stuck at the level of our mind, our small mind, our individual mind, we're going to try to do something, anything to distract ourselves. Instead of just sitting in the dullness and embracing the dullness, it's got to do something. It can be a master of distracting. And when we look out in the world, we can see that our restaurants and our sidewalks are full of people buried in that cell phone. They don't know how to be in the dullness of going for a walk or the dullness of sitting at a table with somebody else and having a meal. So it distracts itself. It's uncomfortable. When we're stuck at the level of our feelings or emotions, we fall into depression. This is where things can get really dark really fast when those emotional turbulences become so overwhelming that it feels like you're drowning. Those are your indicators that you need help. It's not a weakness to ask for help. When we're stuck at the physical level, your body, you're noticing a lack of energy, a lack of enthusiasm, it's a lack of light. So all of these different opportunities, the mental, the physical, the emotional, they're all ways that the energy is trying to talk to you to say, hey, wait a minute, you're getting stuck in those lower chakras. We got to reach up and out. You have to be your savior. You have to be the one that lifts for that life raft, that either calls somebody in to assist you or makes the shift and the change within your own attitude, your own perception to get out of that loop. Continuing to do the same things that you're doing that keep you in that same narrative is going to have you on that hamster wheel of life going nowhere. Well, there's all these other potentials that exist outside of the pattern that you are on. So it really does boil down to it's a shift in our attitude and a shift in our desire to change, to embrace the teachings of the summer solstice. The miracle of the spectrum of consciousness is that every shadow state contains a divine gift that is less than a breath away. We tell ourselves that it's hard to change, but it is literally a breath away. Lifting yourself up, bringing in that element of air, filling yourself in with more light, getting up and taking the first step. To move from one state to the other simply requires acceptance. All three levels, whether you're in the shadow, the gift, or the sooty, in reality, they're all one. It's like looking at yourself and looking at the problems in your life, whatever you're going through, and feeling like you're the only one that is going through your problem. And then being able to get into a rocket ship and look down at Earth and see this floating marble and all of the people in the marble and realizing, oh my God, humanity is in this together. And guaranteed in those trillions of people that exist on Earth, there are several others that are going through very similar experience that you are, but in their own way. So you're not alone in your problems, in your traumas. There is great compassion and opportunities there to move through those challenges within your life, to see yourself on the other side of that challenge, and then to be able to guide others through it as well when you've reached that healthy state within yourself. There is a beautiful gift there for humanity to take a lot of those traumas and not live as the victim, but to live as the savior of yourself. So we don't forget, but we learn how to forgive. Life is absolutely ordinary. And you too must be absolutely ordinary. The only way to true paradise is through this absolute ordinariness. Life is just what it is. You look out to Mother Earth, her seasons, her flowers, her day-to-day moments. The birds get up every single morning and they get out there and they sing. They get out there and they look for food. They get out there and they fly. They get out there and do whatever it is that they're here to do. The ants go out, they move forward, they find food, they bring food back, and they do whatever they need to do. People are the same. It is embracing that ordinariness and recognizing that your purpose is simply to be human and to be the best human that you can be. It's not about getting other people to see you or having a fan club. It's about allowing your authenticity to guide the way, to really fill yourself up with all the potential that your soul came here to express, to live in the utter contentment of being you, that it doesn't require approval from anybody else. And children do this as a living, breathing example for us. Until a child becomes aware of somebody else's judgment, it does whatever it's drawn to do in the moment. It is innocent. And when we allow ourselves to connect back to our inner child, we become childlike. We do those things that bring us the joy. We open up like the summer solstice, the gift of the flowering. Then life becomes magical. You are existing in the ordinary, but the most extraordinary moments happen in the every ordinary days of our life. It is all about your perspective to that reality. We always have an opportunity to either have a repressive side of ourselves, which means we keep everything in, or a reactive side, which means we push everything out. And this is your opportunity to really examine the shadow in this current energy to see, well, Do you have a tendency to be more repressive, which is also a little bit more feminine in nature, holding it in, not doing, or more masculine, more reactive, pushing it out there? In the repressive side, this is a state of feeling empty. So when you're in the shadow of dullness, you're in the dilemma of your comfort zone, you feel empty. That is the depressive state that comes in. It's a state of just feeling like, you know what, I'm giving up. There's nothing left to fight for. And that comes from fear. It's a fear-based mentality. And it's very similar to, you're falling into the ocean, you're falling into the depths of your emotional energy. And it becomes so overwhelming, so dark, so lacking in light that you no longer know which way is up. And because you no longer know which way is up, you get tired. You stop swimming. You just get into that state of giving up. And I've had experiences in my own life with loved ones who do fall into those deep depressions. And for the longest time, it was hard to understand that. You can't really understand what someone else is going through. And that is where our ability to have empathy and compassion and to really remind ourselves that there are resources for help, that we don't have to allow ourselves to fall to such depths before asking for a life raft. And that is our free will. At every moment in time, we can call in those higher energies of love, of support, of comfort, of understanding, of whatever it needs. You can call in hope. You can call in prayer. You can call in grace. If anyone has ever gone through grief, and I know I've gone through it myself a few times, you do spiral down into those moments where you don't know how you're going to get out of it. And that is when most times the most loving thing you can do is literally giving yourself a hug, inviting in the power of touch, because touch, love, is the remedy to fear. It is the antidote to fear. When you are with somebody who is in that state, being by their side, giving them a hug, showing up, just being in the presence is sometimes that saving grace that is needed. But it's also knowing that there are professionals there that are available for assistance. And they are doing more and more research on mental health, and they're taking that a lot more seriously. And they're starting to understand that this is cycles and patterns in individuals, and it does require having some conversations, getting to the root of the issues, coming up with a supportive environment to feel the ability to cope within that, and not being afraid to seek those resources out. The other side to that, the reactive, is the extremist. The extremist is going to escape the dullness of life through denial. So we are masters of distracting ourselves. And it's literally moving from one thing to the next thing without any rhyme or any sense of purpose. It's just all over the place. And because it's on the move, it's unable to commit to anything. So it might have started a lot of things, but none of it is done. And it is literally a state of running from their own shadow. So if you have a hard time sitting still, if you feel you got to jump up and get going to do something, ask yourself, why am I afraid to sit in the silence? Why am I afraid to sit here and do nothing? And just see what comes up for you. Sometimes it's the programming thought of, well, I got to keep busy. Someone's going to say that I'm lazy. So really kind of sitting with yourself and finding that own energy and really getting to know your pattern. When you can see your pattern and the comfort zone that you do that keeps you self in that pattern, then you can choose to jump in to a higher vibrational frequency by calling in the gift to break yourself free from the dullness. But in order to see the dullness, you have to go into the dullness And then you can get to the root of the issue to move yourself up and out of that. We're going to call in now the gift of magnetism, because this is truly all about the law of attraction. So we recognize the dullness of life. We recognize the ordinariness of life. We recognize the patterns that we are in. And we start to understand that, everything is in our electromagnetic field. We are creating our own reality. We are responsible for creating our heaven or our hell on earth. So the 15th gift, the gift of magnetism, it represents the inner barometer within your DNA to what is known as the Schumann resonance. And the Schumann resonance was created, it was found by Otto Schumann back in 1977. And he mathematically predicted the Earth's heartbeat. He measured it as a vibrating pulse, a hertz, a sound wave, a frequency within the spectrum. And this is the same frequency that is in the heart, the vibrating pulse of all living organisms. So it is the heartbeat to Mother Earth. And when we are in alignment to the heartbeat to Mother Earth, then we are in the flow with Mother Earth. We are inviting in the energies to support us. When we're not vibrating at the same energy as Mother Earth, because life has taught us to go much faster, to get caught up into our mind, to get distracted, to become disjointed. There's people in the world that don't have the opportunity to get out into nature. Cities have overtaken a lot of that. So we have to make the effort within ourselves to connect to living life, to put some plants in our house perhaps, or to get out into nature, to check in with ourselves. And how is your pulse? How is your heartbeat? How is your breath? So a barometer is there to measure pressure. And when we tap into the barometer within our DNA and we see how we are beating in our pulse of life compared to the natural pulse of life of the earth, then we're going to see our disconnect. All human disease comes about because of disturbances in your individual electromagnetic field and the greater field that emanates the earth. So whenever your frequency ceases to correspond to the Schumann resonance, the Earth's magnetic field, you're out of kilter with your natural rhythm, and the chemistry of your psychology experiences pressure and stress. So when we're feeling like we are overwhelmed, we're feeling like we're moving too fast, we're feeling all this stress, we're caught up in the mind. Again, that is your body's way of saying you're out of rhythm. You're out of step with what is natural to you. We're not taught to sit still. We're taught to get out there and force life to happen. But the seed doesn't force itself to open up. The forces of life put pressure on the seed to open. It knows when that seed is ready. So when we allow ourselves to really step into our auric field, our vibrational energy is naturally going to attract towards itself whatever is there to serve the higher purpose. So that is the gift of magnetism. And you could say to yourself, well, I get all these things that are going wrong in my life. Well, you're going to keep getting those things that are going wrong in your life until you come into the awareness of you better change something to align yourself more to what it is that you do want. Because whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're feeling, you're telling your electromagnetic field, I want that. I want to be late for work. Okay, here's something to help you be late for work. I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed. Okay, here's more stress to help you experience stress. right? So we have to become really aware of our inner alchemy potential to be that magnet. How our thoughts are creating our reality, how our attitude is feeding into our emotions, our perspective, how we, each and every one of us as individuals, are the creator. We are the alchemist. We have a piece of the God within ourselves, source, the creator, whatever that is. We are magical. So the earth becomes our teacher to help us move into that greater harmony. To live closely to the earth's natural rhythm is to experience the wisdom and clarity that comes with moving more slowly through the world and embracing the ordinariness of life. It is teaching ourselves the art of slowing down, to really stay present in the moment, to not worry so much about getting out there and doing something and becoming someone, but to trust that you already are. You came into this world with everything that you needed for your soul to express its highest version of self. It's not about chasing things out in the world. It's about getting to know you. It's about fine-tuning your gifts, of building that relationship with your higher self. It's about trusting in Mother Earth that is holding you in your experience, trusting in the natural ebb and flow of life's events, moving, pivoting, dancing, adjusting, not being knocked off your feet, finding your balance, being open to humanity, being open to the extremes, tuning into your auric field, being aware of your thoughts, being aware of what it is that you are attracting. When you're attracting things that are not necessarily feeling good to you, it is leaning into them and going, ooh, what is this teaching me? What do I have to adjust within my own attitude? When you become more and more tuned to the earth, to trusting in the flow of life, to the easiness, the naturalness of who you are, your auric field, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which means you are drawing in more and more energy, more and more light to support you. You become even more magnetic in that experience. When you have the gift of magnetism, you're going to feel this within yourself, or you're going to notice this in other people. They have this glow about them. They're glowing with life force energy. And because their auric field is expanding, they are literally appearing to be larger than life because your auric field is felt by other people. It's carrying these natural qualities of enthusiasm and openness. So people automatically are drawn to that. It catches your attention. You want to know what's happening over there. It is offering others love. It is receiving in love. So it's just pulsing out these beautiful qualities. It has the ability to harness the power of the natural world. Things are available to it to do the alchemy work. It likely has a very strong connection to plants, to animals, to the organic kingdoms, which means things that are just natural in nature. It respects sentient life. You know, the trees are our guardians. When you look at the inside of a tree, the rings of the tree talk about its life. Well, it's the same with us. We have a story, we have a history. So the sentient beings, they're living, breathing organisms. It has a deep kinship with humanity, all of humanity. It becomes very accepting and willing and open to work with the extremes of human behavior. It's not going to get knocked over by it. It knows how to put up boundaries that are healthy. It knows how to stay open in love. It knows when the other person is coming at them with a shadow, and it doesn't react with another shadow. It shines a light. It holds up the mirror reflection to that. It doesn't include anyone. It's not closing off its heart. It's not closing down the flowers of its chakra. The more diverse, that it is able to be, the more people and experiences that it welcomes into its energy, the more fulfilled they become, the more full of life they become. And if you have a thirst for travel and experiencing cultures, that's the drive of the soul to be engaged with humanity, to open up to these experiences, these opportunities to learn, to grow, to share, to breathe, to celebrate. So it accepts the ordinariness of life. It experiences life as this immortal journey through all the mystical strands and stories of human culture. Boring everyday issues, they're seen as opportunities for great transformation. They don't see it as ordinary any longer. They see the beauty in growing the garden, washing the dishes, tucking the children into bed, sitting with somebody who is not feeling very well, having a cup of tea, boiling the water for the tea. Every single moment becomes a sacred act of creation. It becomes a teaching experience, and they immerse themselves in that experience. So we start to learn that the great spiritual trials, they're not met in the extremes. Your most defining moments happen in the everyday moments. Who you are when nobody is watching is the truth of your existence. So our perspective, our attitude, our openness to life and its gift of living, that is what is creating our heaven here on earth. The highest essence of this is the Sudi of fluorescence. And I love the image of the individual that has literally become the flower. It is an expression of all life itself. It's not just this human physical, it's the tree, it's the rock, it's the stream, it's the air, it is everything. It is connected to the support of the world around it. It is flowing with life force energy. It's in that state of photosynthesis where all the cells in the body have opened up to breathe into life, to be breathed by life. And that's one of the secrets is, we feel that we have to force things, but life breathes us. There's a magical force within you that just knows how to breathe. We restrict our breath. When you focus on your breathing, you allow yourself to come into this natural rhythm that is full. It is filling up your cells. It is filling up your existence. Your heartbeat will automatically slow down. Your mind will automatically start to clear. Your energy will automatically start to fill up. And the only thing that you did is change your perspective to your breath and stop limiting its natural flow. So fluorescence is literally the process of bursting into flower, stepping fully into your higher self, opening up all your channels by shifting that perspective, literally getting out of your mind, out of the bird cage, and being free. And this isn't something that we chase. You can't hurry it. You can't force it. It is spontaneous. The flower opens when the flower is ready to open. The seed cracks when the seed is ready to crack. It opens up through the dirt and into the light when it is ready to do so. And it's the same with our own evolution. It's not about chasing things out there. It's not trying to be better than. It's not that you are lacking anything. It is honoring the journey that you are on and cultivating the best human experience that you can have by attuning yourself to the higher vibrations, by doing your own healing work, by staying present in each and every moment, by engaging in your relationships, having those experiences, letting that heart open up. We are going to get close to the Sudi, that highest essence, when we become truly natural and comfortable with who we are, not trying to be something for anybody else, but going back to your natural state of being, the state that you were born into the world as. Fully accepting your life and the lives of others. So also not trying to change anybody else, having an opinion over somebody else's life, wanting them to change to fit into your story, but accepting their life. They are exactly where they are meant to be for their highest good to experience the teaching lessons that they need to receive. So are we as individuals. So when we come to that acceptance, then our awareness comes into rest. And when we are at rest, consciousness can finally shine through. When we literally get out of our own way and we allow life to move us, now our spirit, our higher consciousness, our light is guiding that way. So fluorescence can't be created, not by meditation, not by good karma, not by any form of effort, not even by effortlessness. Fluorescence is grace. It occurs whenever and wherever it feels like occurring. So there's nothing that you need to do. And that is where a lot of religions and a lot of organizations, they try to create this step-by-step manual. Well, that doesn't work. That's someone else's opinion of creation itself. You have everything within you, organic in nature, that when you shift out of the way, the cells automatically are going to line up. The codes are automatically going to open. The lessons reveal itself. It's like the old saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So life is your greatest teacher. And you might have individuals in your life that are really kind of poking your buttons. And it's not what are they doing? It is what is that teaching me? And why is that experience? Why is it triggering me? Why do I have an emotional reaction to that? Why is it bugging me? And it's really sitting in that discomfort to heal whatever it is, to transcend yourself through that. And eventually it gets to the point where that same individual comes and tries to poke a button, and you no longer have any reaction. You are at peace. At which point you are done that pattern, you're done that learning, and you rise up into your next experience. So we're not here to force anything, but to simply allow the force of life to awaken and emerge inside of us. And that is the beautiful teaching of the summer solstice, a very magical time of the year, one of four love gates in the teachings of human design, the transition from the end of Gemini season into the start of Cancer season. Cancer season is going to continue us on a journey now, dropping us down into the root center. Our root center is all about our safety, our security, what it means to be human. And it's also going to open us up to the pressures of stress. So a little bit of stress gives us the energy that we need to evolve ourselves. Too much stress keeps us stuck. So the next three gate activations are very pivotal in integrating what you've learned through Gemini season, through the teachings of the chakras of the throat center, now grounding it down into earth. Then we're going to come back up into the throat center to ride out the rest of Cancer season, to move us then into Leo season. That's the second time I forgot about poor Leo season. I had to look at my chart. And we're going to finish off the rest of those gates within the throat. So it's beautiful to see the patterns and the teachings of the mandala wheel, how you can learn to use your birth chart to follow the pattern, how we can bring our awareness to the shadow and not sit in the shadow, but catch it and call in the gift. So your whole focus now, you've gotten all the teachings about this gate and what it means to really go through the teachings of the summer solstice. Your biggest takeaway, if you should have any for this entire lecture, this opportunity to learn, is really just the law of attraction. The understanding that you are magnetic. And whatever you're thinking about, whatever your attitude is, that is what you are attracting. So you can use this energy during this time and carry it through with you on your journey to start playing with your belief in self, attuning to the energies that you want to see more of, and feeding that into your auric field. Doing what brings you joy, doing what brings you satisfaction, listening to the wisdom of your body, increasing your light force energy, knowing when it is time to play, when it's time to have fun, when it's time to rest, when it's time to work, and not from here, from here. This is really activating what is known as the heart brain, the higher heart, the higher teachings of love. So I hope that this brings you some value. I really hope that you continue the journey now through Cancer season and really embrace yourself into the teachings of the Mandala Wheel and all the wonderful potentials that are here for each and every one of us on our journey. Take care. Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you.